Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day you are. Welcome into the Lenten Insight space. Folks, I hope you have been enjoying the journey that we have engaged in so far. It has been an incredible journey of spiritual deepening. It's been an incredible journey of deep creative introspection, and I hope you've had time to look at all the videos that we have been sending out as we seek to take you on a deeper journey and a walk with God, and we hope you are blessed by that journey. Welcome into this space, and may the Holy Spirit that called you into this space bless you immensely as you come into this holy space. Well, today I want to share with you on what I call the mortality perspective. Mortality perspective or mortality awareness, just the awareness of your impermanence here on earth. I base my sharing with you on a very interesting and incredible psalm, and that is Psalm 49. Please go read that psalm before you even go further in listening to this reflection this morning. So in Psalm 49, we learn what I call the mortality perspective. Now, mortality perspective is a mindset where you live with a heightened sense of awareness of our impermanence here on earth as human beings, where you look face to face with the fact that we are impermanent, we are a transient people, and at some point our bodies will die. Mortality awareness is a mindset that makes you go through life with full awareness of the frailty of our human body, and the fact that at some point death will destroy our body. And therefore, this is a perspective that, as we read in Psalm 49, help us to reckon with our futility, the futility of our existence on earth, the weakness of our body, the impermanence of our life in this planet. In the opening stanza of Psalm 49, the psalm makes it clear that this is a global call. It is a call to the human species, where wisdom is sharing deep divine insights with all people across all levels and all divisions. The call of the psalm is for humanity to reckon with the reality that they will die. Verse 12, they will die. The wise advice of the psalmist there is for us to reconcile ourselves to the fact of the frailty of our human condition, that we are mortal beings. And that this is the perspective that we are advised to hold as we go into the world, because there is a certain way in which when you hold this kind of perspective, it impacts the way you view life, the way you relate with others, the way you interact with nature, the way you look at yourself. There is a radical shift in terms of the worldview you possess when you are moving with the mortality perspective, and you have reconciled yourself with the fact that you are not permanent on this earth. There is wisdom, my friends, in the ability to face the futility of the shortness of our lifespan here on earth. This is because that kind of perspective conditions our mind, our attitude, and determines to a very large extent how we live our life. When you have reconciled yourself with the fact of your physical mortality, firstly, your purpose, your vision, your mission, your call becomes the focal point of your life. You become focused in a way that when you are living outside the perspective of your mortality, you will never be able to reconcile yourself. You become so focused. Secondly, the sense of urgency in your spirit becomes heightened. There is a sense in which your spirit is quickened by just the awareness that you do not have too much time on this earth. You do not procrastinate. You do not put away the things that you could do today. I don't know if you've experienced somebody that has lived their life and they are now at their deathbed. When a person is at their deathbed, they have an urgency of spirit that is so radical and that is so palpable, it will actually make you see life in a different way. Because suddenly they realize that, look, I do not have time on this earth and I've got to put my house in order. I've got to sort out my internal stuff, my relationship with self and my relationship with life. It is because at that point, left with few days or few hours, one realizes what is important and what is not important. So when you live your life with a perspective of mortality or awareness of your mortality, your sense of priorities is refined. You refine your things to an extent that you are able to distinguish between what matters and what does not matter. You see, my friend, those of us that are oblivious to our mortality and we live as if we've got forever on this earth, we fail to distinguish between what matters and what does not matter. We tend to argue and spend time perspiring and wasting emotional energy on things that really don't matter. We spend our emotions and we stress ourselves, we make ourselves sick, we acquire all these physical illnesses of depression and ulcers and heart conditions, and we do that because we live with a disposition that says we have forever on this earth. But once you know that you do not have forever on this earth, then you know where you need to spend time. You know where you need to just let things slide. You don't argue too much. You don't worry too much. You have no sense of fear in your heart. When you live with a mortality perspective, it makes you radical, because then suddenly you become this fearless being who knows what is critical and what is unimportant. When you live with a mortality perspective, my friends, your passion is fueled by the urgency in your spirit. You treat time with sacredness, a level of sacredness. You choose the activities that you involve yourself in very carefully. You don't take on every assignment on earth. Whatever invitation you receive, you go to. Whatever somebody throws on your side, then you run with it. When you've got a mortality perspective, you choose your activities strategically and wisely. You even choose the friends, the people you surround yourself and you spend time with very carefully, because then you know who is important and who is really not important in terms of your purpose and your mission and your call and your commitment on this earth. When you have this perspective, my friend, money and material wealth is used as means to fulfill your mission and your purpose. When you have this mortality awareness, it affects and influences how you treat others, especially those that are under your power and authority. People like your employees, your subordinates, children, learners, the poor people, the homeless, the vulnerable, those who are powerless. Your orientation and your mentality and your perspectives are revolutionized in a way that you begin to value life more than stuff. When you move with mortality perspective, it helps you to live with the awareness that at some point we will change form and our soul will break free of the limitations of our physical existence. That our mind at some point will claim its freedom away from the limiting conditions of our ordinary states. Mortality consciousness helps us to realize that ultimately our true self is actually limitless and powerful beyond what we perceive. In verse 2 of Psalm 49, the psalmist reveals and affirms the equality of our humanity. Apart from our self-imposed social and economic levels and classes, we will all die. The high and the low, rich and poor, wise and foolish, sensible and senseless, black and white, homosexuals and heterosexuals, old and young, the psalmist says they will all die. And there is one more thing. He says, like sheep, they are led to the grave. Verse 14. And they will die just like animals. These two parts makes our mortality one with that of nature. In yet another psalm, Psalm 90, in verses 3 and 5, it is said of our life that, oh Lord, you turn people back, you turn people back to dust, saying, return to dust, you mortals. And it further says, they are like grass that springs up in the morning, blooms and flourishes, but by the evening it is dry and withered. All these metaphors that the psalmist uses views our life as inextricable with nature. It connects our mortality, the fact that we will die, we will perish and disappear. It connects it with nature. It makes us one with all of the created order. It makes us one with animals. It makes us one with dust. It makes us one with grass, the flowers, and all other features of the created order. Living with a mortality perspective, friends, helps us to understand that nature and us are one. We are nature and nature is us. It enables you to evolve to your higher self. When you live with the mortality perspectives, it helps you to evolve to your finer character qualities. It makes you to be more humble. It makes you to be considerate and sensitive. It makes you to be bold and courageous in faith. It makes you to be radical and fearless. It makes you to be spontaneous and reaching out. It makes you to accept your equality with other people. It makes you to value life more than money. It makes you to realize that the material stuff are just but the means through which we can achieve our purpose. It makes you to respect and value the dignity of others more than the material possession. Mortality perspective revolutionizes the way you see life and the way you view other people and the way you view yourself. When you have the mortality perspective, you stop taking yourself too seriously. You stop being boastful and pompous. It cuts down on the energy of your arrogance and flamboyance because you know that you are just as ordinary as some Joe Soap who is sleeping under the bridge in a rich city. If there is a gift, my friends, that COVID-19 pandemic has brought into our life as the human species, is to bring us face to face with the reality of our frail and futile life here on earth. COVID-19, because of its radicalness and its shocking, rapid way in which it sweeps us off the face of the earth, it has helped us to realize that our life here is impermanent and will be snuffed even before we realize. One inability to breathe, then you are gone. It has made us realize that our bodies are weak and fragile, and therefore we need to take care of our bodies. When you have a mortality perspective, you begin to respect your body. You begin to respect your mind. You begin to respect the treasures of your soul. You begin to respect yourself. COVID-19 showed us how quickly and effortlessly death swallows and ends our physical existence. But it also has reminded us how mortality has leveled our life playing field. I mean, we are a very stratified species. We put people in levels and categories. We divide and discriminate each other depending on the class and the level we think you are in. But COVID-19 has reminded us that we are mortal beings. It reminded us that we are equal, and that our socially invented divisions and levels of our life are superficial and stupid. COVID-19 has helped us to develop our mortality perspective. In addition, the Lenten period of fasting, where the physical body is in sharp focus, has helped us. This Lent, we have been helped to introspect and further enhance our consciousness of the mortality of our body and the primacy of our soul. COVID-19 time has offered us an opportunity to grow our mortality perspective and awareness. So as we go through the Lenten period of the COVID-19 time, this is an opportunity for us to reflect deeply on the frailty and the mortality of our life on earth. May God give us the grace to know that we are just but like dust, like grass, like flowers, like animals, and we are one, and we will go and pass. And when we reconcile with our mortality perspective, then we are blessed to know that we have got to live with a sense of divine agency. God bless you.